Imagine Madagascar, fourth largest island in the world with many, many needs, the greatest of which is education. And we're there. Did you know that thousands of children around the world still don't have access to education? Well, that's why we're in Madagascar, creating schools, and it's your compassion and generosity that's allowing this project to move forward. Come with me, let's take a peek. The Madagascar School Project. This is where Madagascar is in the world, and after changing planes in Paris, we take an 11-hour flight down to Madagascar. Madagascar has schools, but they all charge tuition, and many parents are unable to pay the tuition as well as the notebooks, pens, and uniforms their children require. So at this school, only a few lucky children are inside, and the others are outside, listening, trying to learn their alphabet and numbers, but they'll never be invited inside. They'll never be a student. This happens all over Madagascar. Children are on their own all day long as parents are working in the fields. They look after siblings. Maybe they shepherd some cattle. Maybe they carry bricks to the road. And everyone has the job to fetch water, even the 3-year-olds. They're a happy and resilient group of people with strong family ties, doing the best they can, but they really wish that they could send their children to school. Then they may be able to carve out a different future for themselves. So when I came back from my volunteer trip to Madagascar in 2007, I asked anyone who was interested to join me in the mission of building a school for the children in Madagascar. Together, we formed the Madagascar School Project and became a Canadian charitable association, able to give our tax receipts. And we began raising money. Here they are, the board of directors, who have been with us now for almost 10 years. By that spring, we had enough money to be able to begin building our first school. First, we had to make the bricks. Rocks had to be broken to make them small enough to form the floor of our school. Then dig a well by hand, with the earth coming up in small bucketfuls. By October 2008, we had our first school, and we welcomed 65 kindergarten and first grade students. The next year, we had 125 students, and it wasn't long before another village came and asked for our help. The village of Ambui-Bruce was about 6 kilometers away and had over 200 children, almost none of whom were in school. So we bought this piece of land central to several villages and set to work to build a school there. This is what that school looks like today, 6 years later, with many buildings and big gardens below. So we began teaching there in 2010. This is the picture from the mountain behind our school, so you can see the school below and in the distance the capital city of Antananarivo, only 26 kilometers away. Here is our student population singing their national anthem. Here's an English class. Although they are taught in French and Malagasy in their classrooms, they also have a half an hour of English instruction each day. Students use slates a lot to practice work and then copy over into their notebooks. This is our first graduating class. And here are some students singing in their own language of Malagasy. Many children walk long distances to get to our school. these children have a 90-minute walk one way, so that parent that walks with them has a 3-hour round trip. And then, of course, someone has to go back late in the day to bring them home. We have a church service each Friday morning, so here are the students filing into the canteen. The Anglican priest will come to us on his motorcycle. It's very crowded these days, so now we've changed it into having 2 services. We also have a friendly relationship with the diocese. These are the past and present bishops who come and help us out to bless new buildings and be a presence during any official celebrations. The children take care of their school themselves, doing the cleaning every Friday afternoon. They wash their desks and chairs and floor, and if they bring branches from the Vulindelica tree, they can rub them into the floor and it will act as a natural mosquito repellent, keeping the mosquitoes off their bare feet. Here are the teachers, a wonderful group of people who have become like family with each other. They help the new student teachers, share resources, and help the students out by speaking up if a child in their class needs to see a doctor or has other problems that they can help with. We cut the children's fingernails once a week as the parents don't have scissors or clippers. This is a weekend and the children have come to play on their play structure. So we never have anything in our villages to play on. The role of teacher in Madagascar is one of a strict, distant person. Normally, the teacher simply delivers the curriculum through lecture and notes on the blackboard. They make no effort to know the individual students in their class, and in most of Madagascar, they don't even know their names. The students are numbered, so if they need a student to respond, they just call a number at random. We're asking our teachers to greet each student individually each day, to look them in the eye and ask them how they are. This friendly approach is helping students to become more confident and engaged. We're also asking teachers to beautify their classrooms so there is more sensory stimulation. The teachers plan together to make sure they're delivering a cohesive curriculum and plan special events. As our teachers never had the opportunity to experience art, music, or drama when they were students, we're teaching some of those arts using materials that are close at hand. And we use rhythm and song to help with language learning. We've also started a teacher training program where we ask new would-be teachers to work alongside our seasoned teachers for 2 years, learning to teach and to speak French and some English. They get a meal every day, but only a stipend as salary until they're ready to take on their own class. We work on developing their oral French skills through a weekly debate. We also feed the children every day, as they wouldn't be able to walk the distances and attend school without a meal. We have 6 cooks that work to provide the meal for approximately 700 people. We also have about 50 children who are severely malnourished and don't get fed at home. These children come for a simple bowl of rice every morning before school. Without it, they're falling asleep at their desks in the morning. We also feed all the children under 4 years old in the area to try to strengthen them and keep them from being stunted in their growth. They come to school every day between 2 and 3 p.m. for a cup of protein-reinforced pablum. We teach sewing, and so now have a group of sewers that come every day and earn a small income making uniforms for the students and teachers. Every 2 years, we have an optometrist who comes and checks out our students, especially those having trouble seeing the blackboard. We were able to buy glasses for only $30 a pair, thanks to the Lions Club and some wonderful donors in Canada. We also take care of many medical needs that can't be served by our local doctor. We were able to help this young man back to a normal life after suffering for 5 years by sending him to Kenya for surgery. One of the biggest problems in Madagascar is the environment that has been severely deforested. Over 200 years ago, all the forests were burned to make grazing land for animals, but the soil is poor and cannot support animals. The erosion and loss of topsoil have been devastating. So we have greening days each year where we plant trees and shrubs. The children bring animal manure that they find along the roads, as well as their spades, and everyone takes part. Each grade also has a row of vegetables in the garden that they tend. We also train apprentices in organic gardening to stop the use of harmful chemicals. Gardening on the side of a mountain is hard work, as the land all has to be terraced, and that's done by hand with a spade. These are our gardens. We make almost enough vegetables to cover our daily lunch program. Parents who can't pay tuition of 50 cents per month per child are asked to spend a morning in the garden each month. This way, they can pay for their tuition through their labor, and no child is denied an education. We also have a worm compost, which is an easy way to help the fertility of the soil. There is no electrical grid in our area, so we make power through solar panels. We have a solar cook stove that cooks all the volunteer lunches, and the children are learning about the wonderful free power of the sun. We also have solar water heaters for staff showers, and a biogas digester. Here we put cow manure mixed with water into the cement bowl where it heats and turns to methane gas. This goes up the tube to a camp stove where we can cook just like regular propane stove. We make all our breakfasts and suppers on it now, thus saving a lot of firewood. To try to develop a bit of an economy in the area, we are doing some microfinancing. So this grandmother, raising 2 grandchildren, has land, but she couldn't afford the seed and fertilizer. With $20, she was able to plant her field and produce these healthy onions and garlic to sell. Madame Zéline started a store with her $20 donation and faithfully pays us back 25 cents a week. She has the only store in her village. Madame Vwangi is a great embroiderer, and so with the help of money for materials, she's making some beautiful bags, tablecloths, and purses to sell. Madame Irma began with enough money to buy 12 geese, and when she sold them and their babies after a year, she had enough money to buy 3 pigs, worth much more. These 2 medical students in their 4th year were going to have to quit school because having to intern in hospitals meant no time to work to pay their tuition. We found helpful donors in Canada to offer them money for their tuition. Dolene dearly wants to be a midwife, and her father can't help her to get an education, so again, a group of women in Canada are paying her schooling. Our long-term goal is to help the project become self-sustaining by 2026. So, to do that, we're developing a business in organic vegetables that we hope to sell in the city, in the sale of chicken, pork, and eggs, and hopefully also fish. This is our staff, with all our teachers in white, the cooks in burgundy, and the others are guards and gardeners. This is our parent community, who are wonderful supporters with their labor and ideas. Our newly formed school committee, made up of the 2 principals, teachers, cooks, gardeners, and guards, are learning how to steer the whole operation and make decisions for the future of the project. Next year, we hope to add parents. These are our meat chicks, and they are our fourth group that we've raised and sold into the city. Our laying hens now have a brand new barn that was just built for them this year. We are able to sell all the eggs we produce locally. Some of the challenges in Madagascar are the fact that there is a dry season lasting 6 months where no water falls at all. This is followed by a rainy season where people make every effort to put as much land as they can into cultivation. It rains very hard every day. This makes the roads poor and driving difficult. This is our typical trip to town. From the city. The degradation of the roads is an insurmountable problem, as there is no gravel to keep the soil erosion at bay. This road that we worked to improve in 2013 is already needing repair. Lucky for us, when the students finished their exams, they helped to fix the road. But the gardens are not so easy to fix, as the rain carries all our fertility and soil away while forming deep rivulets. This year, we learned about the success of permaculture in this kind of situation from a man from Switzerland who made up a whole plan for how we can transform our land. Permaculture means permanent agriculture. Basically, we dig trenches to hold the water from the rainy season and grow perennials and trees along with our regular annuals so that the soil is never bare, keeps its moisture, and makes agriculture possible all through the year. You can see the progression of greening of the land over time, feeding the soil through humus and keeping it covered in green all year. So we formed 30 teams of 10 parents per team, and each team came once a month to help us dig the ditches, called swales. And it worked. Many poor families with not much more than what they are wearing come to ask for help and to enroll their children in school. Unfortunately, we have to have a cutoff of 50 new students a year and have a school area boundary to be able to support those that we do have. This is a familiar story. Fidelis, who has gone right up through the grades, has to quit because her sister died, leaving a 2-month-old baby that Fidelis will have to care for. One of the ways we've been trying to help with these problems is by starting a program we call Toonie Twinning. With a toonie a week, a person in Canada can put a child in Madagascar through school. I wanted it to be affordable for children to do, as I thought they might, for example, do chores around the house or save the $2 that they usually spend to buy a piece of pizza at school, bring a sandwich instead, and know that they are helping another child their age to get an education. They can write letters back and forth and get to know what life is like on the other side of the world. Blind Julie has a text-to-speech software that runs on her computer and allows her to help the children with the translation of the letters into Malagasy. And then she translates their responses back into English or French to send the letters to Canada. We have Toonie Twinners from all over the world right now. Here is an example of a before and after to appreciate how being in school can help the children in every way. With food, a group of friends, and learning, there is hope and happiness. We never intended to run the school that we built in 2008, but it has been such a wonderful testament to the generosity of Canadians that it has grown so much and so quickly. And of course, thanks to God, whose power working in us can do infinitely more than we can ask or imagine. Thank you very much for your time, attention, support, and prayers. And please check out our website at MadagascarSchoolProject.com. So there you have it, the Madagascar School Project in Madagascar. I hope you enjoyed it, found it interesting. As the Malagasy would say, misocha injinja tupku. Thank you very much. So there you have it, the Madagascar School Project in Madagascar. I hope you enjoyed it, found it interesting. As the Malagasy would say, misocha in jinja tupku. Thank you very much.